I did not quit my 9 to 5. Did not leave my 9 to 5.
Okay.
My 9 to 5 left me. I had a tussle that led to a full-blown court case.
Oh.
Yes. Hello, Open Table family. Welcome to another edition of the Open Table. And we have a wonderful guest with us today. Today's edition, you don't want to miss. Stay tuned as we go ahead. Hi, my name is Olamide. I'm the CEO of Butter & Bliss. Butter & Bliss is a baked goods manufacturer in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. So we own a bakery, and then our star products, like you all know, is our ready-to-bake meat pie brand. And it's nice to be here. You're welcome to today's show. Thank you. And also know that I'm never alone, and my co-host is
Okiki. Before I go on, I would like to plead with our viewers to support us. We need you to subscribe to the channels and do not enjoy our episodes alone. Share with your friends and families.
Thank you very much for that reminder. Subscribe. So today we're talking about business. Lamide is a small business entrepreneur. She is versatile. She has a company of her own, which she set up some years ago. So can you tell us about yourself? I'm a mom of two. I'm married and I work full-time as a baker, of course, in my own bakery right now. Prior to, I think I started to bake full-time in 2025. Prior to 2025, I had a full-time job. And then from there, I took off and ventured into starting my own business full-time. So before you came to Canada, can you tell us a little about yourself? What were you doing back in your home country? Okay, so I have a very broad experience, so to say. I mean, work in terms of work experience. So I started my career as a customer service representative with MultiChoice way back then. And then I joined Chelarams PLC, where I worked I did a lot of data related work in the procurement department. And then I joined Nigerian Breweries PLC, where I worked as a sales analyst, kind of also data related work. And then, but the funny thing about me is I've always been enterprising, so to say. So at every point in time, even when I had my full-time job, I don't think there's been any time where I didn't have something I was doing on the side.
Oh.
Yes. Because I remember that at some point I used to sell clothes. At one point I used to sell jewelry and wedding rings. And then, I had to drop all of that when I moved to Canada. I couldn't continue because I was running this as side hustle. It wasn't a business or a structured business per se. So those had to, go when I migrated to Canada.
Okay, that's really interesting. So coming to Canada, did you venture into business or you started working 9 to 5?
Oh, so, as a newcomer here, you need that security that comes from having a full-time job and a steady pay. So I didn't start business as soon as I got to Canada. I just, worked on myself, developed my career the more, took a bit more courses just to make sure that I have, the relevant knowledge for the right footing here. And I started to work on a 9 to 5. So I think I started business in my 4th year in Canada. Oh, that's awesome. So you've actually, from what you said, you've always been into entrepreneur business, and you've been very versatile. And what really prompted you? What made you develop that interest in business? Because I know there are some people that are just afraid to go into business. They like the unknown, because business can be very versatile. There are ups and downs, and they just feel satisfied in that job security. Like, I want to be satisfied seeing my salary coming into my account every month. But when you're going to business, it's like you're taking a big leap. So what prompted you? What encouraged you? What pushed you? What was that motivation to go into business, even right from back home till now? I would say that I'm just that kind of person who sees or who just feels that it's important to have an additional source of income apart from my full-time job. I also believe that as an entrepreneur, you haven't put a cap on your earning. Like, the sky is really your limit. I didn't feel the need to, way back in Nigeria, I didn't feel the need to completely quit my job to start my business. I was content, learning the ropes of doing business, just doing the things on the side and just gaining more knowledge, because I believe I'm one person who believes that anything worth doing at all is worth doing well. You understand? Mm-hmm. So I didn't go to business school. I didn't, have any background in business. So I didn't jump in with my both feet. Mm-hmm. You understand? And then I'm also one person who you would only find me idle. I was joking with one of my friends recently. I said, but I don't have any source of entertainment. That's why you see me always doing these things.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch TV. I get bored. You can't even take me to a cinema to watch a movie. Yes. You'll be shocked. I'll sleep off in the middle of the most interesting movies. So the only thing I do, aside maybe doing business and reading, of course, I said reading already, is books. I like to read a lot. So, and I don't stay on one topic. I read wide. So when I'm in my, should I say when I'm less busy, or at times when I'm not busy, I just spend my time, on things, productive things like, working on a business.
That's interesting, Lamide. And the fact that you talked about you using being busy or business venturing into business as a form of keeping yourself busy is, I can relate to that. Like, I think we have that in common. The only difference is I don't like reading. Like I dropped books back many years back, and it doesn't fascinate me to read. But that's interesting. But being a business person too, I know how challenging it can be to go into business or be in business, and for seeing you have that courage to leave your regular pay, your 9 to 5 duties, that sure banker, let me use that word, that sure banker, now venturing fully into something that's not so, I wouldn't say it's not so certain, but we all know businesses does have its up and downs, right? Yes. So how did you take that like what brought about that courage?
Yeah. Okay. So full disclosure here. I did not quit my 9 to 5.
Oh, okay.
Or I did not leave my 9 to 5.
Okay.
My 9 to 5 left me. Oh. So in my situation, full disclosure, because I would say that, see, it's, it sounds good to say, oh yes, I quit and I started. No, but that wasn't my story, because I didn't also have the guts, you understand, to quit. Especially in these climes where where
your bills are waiting for
your bills are waiting, your bills are like monthly, your rent is not waiting till the end of the year, you understand? And, it's also an expensive side of the world and not as, affordable. And then you don't have that, support system like you would like back home, where you have your family, your friends to lean on, and you have, so full disclosure, I did not quit my job, but the job wasn't there anymore. And then also I had time. So I was doing my business on the side when I had a job, but then I just found this as an opportunity to just invest more time and invest more resources and more energy into my business. And so you start to get that confidence to stay in the business when you see that what you are investing your time and energy in is yielding some kind of results. So it gives you that confidence to, okay, yeah, I can do this. At the end of the day, like, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
You understand? So at the end of the day, I would say it just takes that courage. There are some kinds of businesses that you can run on the side. There's some kinds of businesses that might require your full
attention, right?
Yes. So I would say, if you have to make the decision on whether to quit your job or whether to run your business as a side hustle, you just have to re-examine yourself. What stage are you financially? You understand? How long can you run on low tank? Or how full is your tank? How far can your savings take you? Those kind of questions. But yeah, so far so good. I haven't had any regret on my decision to run my business full time.
Thank you for being that open, because a lot of people might just feel, like you said, they always say their success stories was...
We're an open table.
So you have to be open.
Awesome. I want to find out, because I also have my side hustle. my side business. And so one of the things that we actually understand is sometimes we have what we call competition in business, and competition where you are not the only one doing that form of business, and there are many other people doing this kind of business. So how have you been able to navigate that terrain in this environment?
Okay, so I would say that in back home, I had some form of background in sales. And I worked in a highly competitive environment. I worked in the alcoholic beverage industry.
Okay.
I was with Nigerian breweries. So we had Nigerian breweries, we had Guinness, we had international breweries, we had, and it was very competitive. You know, at one point when I was in core sales, my job would require, going to outlets, checking in, and I would really meet my competitors, like fellow sales people working for competition in the same outlet. You understand? In fact, let me tell you, I had a tussle with one of the sales reps, I think for one of those breweries way back, that led to a full-blown court case.
Oh,
yes. Yes. So we had an issue in trade that led to a full-blown court case. So I would say I kind of have a balanced view on competition. Number one, you watch your competition. See, there has to be competition.
Yeah.
You understand? There's no business that you can do and it's just you in the business. There's really no novel idea. And then even if you start something new, it's so novel and it's so new, somebody is going to copy you. There's definitely going to be copycats.
Yeah.
So here is two things that I do. I watch my competition. I watch them very closely. That's number one. And then number two, I see myself as my own competition. So, and I'll explain that better. Watching your competition means that somebody's going to be in the same business as you, but what are they doing and how can I improve on it? And that's one. And then seeing yourself as your own competition is, how can I be better than I was yesterday?
Improving your skills.
Yes, because you can't focus too much on your competition. If you focus too much on your competition, then you become a copycat. You understand? And then you are always going to be one step behind your competition because that's your focus. But then when you are your own competition and the 70% of the time what you're striving to do is to be better than you were yesterday, how can I be more innovative with my products? How can I be more innovative in my marketing? How can I satisfy my customers better? So when you are those things, then you would succeed. But sometimes competition can even give you an advantage can be your own advantage to succeed. Let me tell you what, somebody may never have come across my product. They may have come across my competition's products. What would endear them to my products might be because they are not satisfied with my competition's products.
And look around to find other options.
And look around to find an alternative. So they're not really looking for me, but they have this need. This person is not satisfying this need very well. And so they start to look for an alternative. And then they find me. You understand? Yeah. So I would say that competition should just never be, you shouldn't find competition as a threat. Do what you know how to do and do it very well. I remember when I started my business, somebody said, oh, you can't price your product at this point because your competition, they're in business before you and they're pricing lower. And I said to her, your point is valid. But price is not the only reason why people buy.
Quality.
I have never believed in compromising on quality. My product quality is always great. Sorry, I kind of advertise myself. Right?
Yeah, it's good.
I don't compromise on quality. I don't compromise on making my products premium, so to speak. So I said my target market is the people who want good quality. My target market is people who want premium and who are willing to pay for premium. So I'm going to price based on value. I'm not going to price based on competition, because if you price based on competition, and that's what happens when people watch competition so much, when you are solely focused on competition and not, try to be a better version of yourself and build products that, speaks real value. You understand? So I said, no, I appreciate that concern, but I'm pricing based on value. I'm I'm not going to downprice myself, because that will keep me out of business. That will kick me out of business faster than pricing based on value would. So
yeah, that's good. Like I tell people, you can't be everybody's. Everybody can be your customer, and definitely you can't serve everybody.
Yeah,
so and we all use, like you said, you are particular about quality. You know what you put in your product. One of the factors that would determine your outcome is your input. Like, what kind of ingredients do you use? You might not use the same thing as your competitors, like you said. So I like that point, and I've picked one or two points from you. Now, my business, I'm not into full-time into baking, but I have a business in that line, and I know how challenging, how stressful, how physically demanding it can be. And I know you are a mom. You just said you are a mom of two. You run your business full-time. You have your family too, and your kids are still little. I don't think they are of that age where they can say, "Oh, mommy, sit down. We got this for you," right? Yes. So how do you balance it?
Okay, so here's it. So at the point where you take your business from a side hustle to a business, then you have to start thinking about structure. Your business is not going to start as a business, because let me tell you what, a business has to be able to run without you. You understand? And you may not have that structure in the beginning, but the moment you start a business, you have to start thinking about structure.
Okay.
If you don't think about structure, your business is going to remain a hustle, and you can't grow from a hustle. You can't become a $1 million company
from a hustle.
From your hustle. Your sweat can't do everything. So the moment you are thinking business, the first thing you need to think about is, what do I need to do? What can only me do? And what do I need to outsource? What can other people do? Some people are in business, for example, like in baking, and they're like, how do you want to share? How would you share your recipe? If you share your recipe, then you train your competition. I'm like, no, that's not how to think about it. Because somebody can never really copy you perfectly. There is much more to running a business than somebody having a recipe. See, I make meat pies. There's many people that make meat pies, right? And trust me, even if I give you my recipe,
the outcome
is going to be different. You understand? The outcome is definitely going to be different. So, and also there's how you can give a little and keep a little. Now I have employee that works with me. They understand there's a part of the production that I handle, but I can't handle everything. So what do I have to do? The only thing that I know that I have identified that I have to do, see, and this takes a lot of self-awareness and a lot of analysis and planning. What I know that I have to do is strategy. But when it comes to the day-to-day grind, I cannot always be in it. Sometimes I am in it, but I make sure that I'm able to take a break from my desk every now and then, you understand, and think big picture. Because when you get lost in the daily grind, in the hustle, you can't think strategically, you can't think creatively if you get lost during the daily grind. So I'll say that now that it's becoming that it has become a business per se, I have hires who work in the kitchen, right? And I'm also able to outsource some things. I outsource things like social media. Social media should not take the bulk of my time. I shouldn't be spending so much time editing videos, and when I can be thinking about it. Yes, and when I can be thinking or working on, how do we find the next retail outlet? How do we, when I should be in those sales discussions and pitching to people, and those kind of things, for now, I think are things that I should take on, whilst some other people can add more value. At the end of the day, if you hire and you train properly, trust me, you may not be able to hire the most skilled person at the beginning of your business. You may need to hire and train. I would just say that it's important to hire the right people. Yeah, even if you are training, you have to be training the right person so that you don't have to train and train again and train again.
Keep retraining.
You know? Yes, and keep retraining. So I would say that I've been able to manage my time, so to speak, that way, balance things by having help and outsourcing in the right places, and then focusing my energy on, the
most crucial as part of the job,
yes,
of the business.
So I'm going to take you up on this area. How many outlets? Because I know you're talking outlets, and from what I know about you, you have expanded your business even beyond where your personal location is, where your office location is. So, like, how many outlets have you like opened up?
So I think right now, conveniently, we are in about 7 or 8 retail outlets. So we are in basically like all of the African stores in Saskatoon. We are in some African stores in Regina. We are in other non-African stores like local food and grocery stores in Regina as well. And we are in Co-op store I think in Estevan and Moose Jaw as we speak, and some independent stores in Saskatoon as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
On the issue of training your staff and you've actually said about training the right type of staff, but there have been stories where I've watched other people that are in businesses full time and they have lots of staff under them and they've been burnt or beaten by their staff. So how do you manage, like how do you handle that aspect where your staff don't end up protect your business, not by hoarding your information, like say you are not the recipes you can give out, you won't get the same result like you give.
Yeah.
However, some people train staff and then within a few months they move out. Have you ever had such an experience?
Yes. Like even in my short, in this short while that I've been running my business full time, I've had experience working with several people. So I would just say that one of the things that small business owners do is they hire the available person rather than hiring the suitable person, because we don't even have the resource, or we think we don't have the resource to hire right. So we just hire who's available. Like, okay, I have a friend's friend who's looking for a job, or my friend, my sister's friend, or my friend's brother is looking for a job, and then we just bring them on. You understand? So they might not really be passionate about what you do. They might not have the required skill sets. And what's the criteria that we are even hiring based on? We can't say for sure. You understand? But we just need to hire, and then we just
get the work.
Yes. And then just hire somebody and we hope that they can get the work done. That's the number one pitfall for small business owners. Then the number 2 thing is structure. I would say structure. And structure is not just in hiring people and hoping that they get it right. Structure comes from, first thing is documentation. You understand? Do they really know their job description? Do they know what they're supposed to do every day? Somebody hires a staff, and the staff is supposed to attend to customers. You put them on your front desk to attend to customers. And you don't even as much as have phone etiquette manual for them. Like, this is how you take phone calls. Like, hi, hello, good morning. Thank you for calling Border and Bliss. How may I help you today? How do they greet customers when customers come? You haven't told them how do they handle complaints? A customer comes in, meets an employee and says, you guys, sold me bad products, blah, blah, blah. And then, because I had similar experience, I ordered food from somewhere. They gave me something totally different. And then I called in and the person was like, we're sorry. And I said, is that what I'm going to get? Like, sorry. I said, so in situations like this, what are you supposed to do? No, I understand that you're sorry, but like, I don't want what you sold to me. So what are you supposed to do? And from the person's question, it shows that they've not been equipped on how to handle. See, something should be crystal clear. If you mix up an order, here's what you need to do. If you mix up an order, apologize to the customer, ask them if they want a replacement or they can accept a partial refund. You understand? If they want a replacement, if they picked up the order, ask them if they would like to pick up and when. Or ask them if they want to pick up some other day. If they want a partial refund, this is how much we can offer. Say the product is $50. We can only offer 50% partial refund. So your employee has to know exactly what to do. But we just hire them and hope for the best. So how are we documenting our processes? Do we have standard operating procedure? Because before you come and shout that, oh, the employees are just messing up, have you done your part as a small business owner to train them properly? We like to run from, documentation is hard work. Yeah. We like to run away from things like documentation, things like looking at our figures, numbers. It's a struggle for small business owners because we'd rather be talking to customers and be taking those orders and be hustling and be in the grind. But sometimes you need to take a step back from that grind and focus on these important things. So if you train your staff properly, they are more likely to perform well. If you are getting burnt by staff, you need to take a step back and analyze. See, they say, man, know thyself. You have to analyze the situation properly. Before you put the blame on the staff, on the employee, you have to try to really think about what is wrong from all the sides of the coin. That's when you can address it, address the issue properly.
Good. So, Bottom, please, are you looking at what's the next level for Bottom, please?
We're still on level 1 and trying to balance on the first level right now. So I'd say we're fairly new. The next level for us is to continue to expand. There are a couple of things that will help us expand. We're working on those things that would help us expand. And in terms of our manufacturing process, in terms of our sales process, we're putting those things in place. Of course, we'll be adding new products as well down the line. You can watch out for that. So we have interesting news coming down the line there. So far, so good. I'd say we are still in that growth phase. The business is like a bootstrap business. So sometimes it takes a lot more to scale, but we're growing.
Interesting. So on Open Table, as a family, I don't want to call you subscribers, are part of the first people to hear that Butter and Bliss has a new product coming on board. So watch out. And when you go to store to buy it, let her know you are from Open Table.
Maybe Open Table, yes. Maybe Open Table subscribers should have. We can do that. Maybe I can do that. I can have.
We'll come back to that. Can we?
Open Table subscribe.
That would be nice. So now, Olamide, the businesswoman, Olamide, I'm trying to move a bit away from the business aspect to the love life. Because I don't want to believe. See, you're glowing, the smiles. You are happy. I can tell you are happy. So who is that man behind that smile and that bright face?
The handsome man, the demure man, the delectable. You want to know? So my husband is Tolu, and of course he is my biggest supporter. He's my enabler. Honestly, I would say. See, you don't see my husband, but if you are looking for that person who's working hard behind the scenes together with me, that would be him.
The man.
I told you I started Butter and Bliss as a side hustle. So I remember then we were working out of a commercial kitchen where we used to go to work only on Fridays. Mostly Fridays. Friday night was when we used to produce. Of course, I never used to go alone. I understand. So it would be me and my husband running those night shifts together. And it was a nice kitchen, honestly, where we had a nice area with like couches so my kids could come with us. Okay. They could play games, they could sleep whenever they want to. Sometimes we were working from 6 p.m. till 1 a.m. in the midnight. That's where we're going on. You understand? So there's no way that Butter and Bliss would be without my husband's support. And I'm always very grateful to him for that. So he is really the hero that we don't see. The hero that doesn't show up.
Yeah. Yes. He's the one behind the scenes making everything to come together and giving the push and the support. That's awesome. Yeah. So when it comes to home, how do you want to advise families to come together to build? Because apparently you have your husband's support, you both are supporting one another in the business. So, what do you think is the impact of such support in the business and pushing the family finances forward?
So I would say that a couple has to be able to, first of all, come to the understanding that when one person succeeds, we succeed together.
Yeah.
My family is one where we don't have, hey, this is your thing, this is my thing. We manage our finances together. His money is my money is his money, kind of thing, 100%.
To a large extent, right?
Yes, to a very large extent. No one is trying to be secretive about, oh, this is how much money I have, this is what I can afford for this. Nobody's trying to be secretive about that. So I would say that if you are not competing with your spouse, if you are not trying to, there's no reason trying to outdo your spouse or try to be the superior person or try to be. So just work together. You understand? I'm a Christian, so if I'm allowed to quote the Bible, the Bible says that one would chase 1,000, two would chase 10,000. So the effect of working together as a team has that multiplier effect.
Yes.
You understand? And we just need to I'd say men need to, because my husband is not the traditional man. You understand? He's not we don't define our relationship in terms of the traditional definition of the husband and wife, where the wife has to be the one to bathe the baby, or the wife has to be the one to cook and clean and do all those domestic things, and then the husband has to be the one to pay the mortgage. Because that seems to be like the traditional stereotype that people fall into these stereotypes, and it sets them back a lot. So if we can step out of that, and husbands, you can support your wife. If your wife is doing something, there's really nothing wrong with making breakfast. If your wife has to be in a meeting in the morning, if you step away from that stereotype and see your wife as your mate, as you understand, as your partner, you understand, rather than as your chef, I think things begin to take shape. So I would say, and on the flip side too, if it's the husband that needs support too, of course the wife has to, step up to that role. So someone was telling me lately, her husband had a trucking business, and then one of the drivers didn't come to work, and it was the woman that drove that. I don't know what the size of the truck is. She said yes, but she had to step up at that point to drive the truck, because they had to have satisfied customers. Now, one woman somewhere is going to say, "Oh, I'm just a woman, I can't drive this size of truck." No, you should just do it. And at the end of the day, when one person succeeds, everybody.
So the point from all you said now about relationship is supporting each other, seeing each other as partner. There's no competition. There should not be. We know there should not be competition in marriages.
Yeah.
Like support each other. And also, I wouldn't say men alone. Everyone, both men and women, should drop that mentality of the African. Not at the African, the traditional stereotype of, oh, I'm the man, I should cross my leg and read newspaper or be on Netflix while my wife would, even if she would be somersaulting to make things work out, it shouldn't be that way. And also, the women should also, if you need to support your man in terms of finances, paying the rent shouldn't be it's not limited to a man, like anybody can pay or anybody can step in. So thank you, that's a good point.
Thank you.
I'm aware that you've been winning some grants. You're an award winner of some grants, business grants, and you have access to this. Can you give a bit of a highlight on how you were able to go for the grant? Because I remember seeing your post, and I remember seeing the pitch you made, and I was like fascinated, honestly, because I was like, I didn't tell you personally, but in me, I was like, wow, this lady is so versatile. It's something I couldn't imagine. As much as I am very vocal, I pride myself in being very outspoken and outgoing. It was like, how was she able to achieve this feat? How were you able to pitch, and in the midst of so many other competitors, other people that presented their business ideas, you won the gold prize. So can you give us a background on that?
So I'll say this. There are many things that come together when it comes to things like, I won a page, I presented very well. The first thing I'll say is preparation. There are many of us that run businesses, we don't even have a business plan. Or there are many of us who run businesses, you wrote your business plan when you started your business, After that, the business plan has been living in your presence, and it has gathered dust. Where your business plan should actually be like a living, breathing document. So I'm somebody who would every now and then look at my business plan and see whether I am in track. If I'm in track, at least I know that I am not in track. I look at my figures every now and then and be like, okay, this is where we're supposed to be. Like, no matter how small we are, so that at the end of the day, our success is not like an accident. It's like we knew where we were or what we were doing or we planned, you understand? So one thing I would say that helped me with the pitch competition is literally when I needed to pitch, I just pulled out my business plan and took another look at my business plan. And most of the things that I spoke about were things that I had reviewed over time. So I was able to speak about it confidently because I reviewed them again and again. And there's also the place of preparation. You understand? So I, created my pitch deck, rehearsed. I made sure that I wasn't just reading. I said it out loud to myself a couple of times. You understand? I recorded myself, listened to it, and that's one of the most annoying things when you're listening to your own voice. You enjoy it. You know that, like sometimes when I post on social media, I don't go back to watch when I am in the video because I don't think I want to watch myself or listen to myself. But so I recorded, listening to myself, caught myself in places where I was stammering or not saying some things right, make sure that I had my pitch refined so that when it came to delivery, I can deliver without stammering so much or without forgetting. I think at some point, even the slides weren't working properly. What do you call it?
Projector?
Now? The projector, yes. Okay. But I continued to deliver because I think I knew what I was talking about. I had rehearsed all over again. I had my figures, I had my points well laid out. So it was quite easy to deliver it. And I also believe in what I am doing. There are many people who think that, this is because they were fantastic. They were best ideas that I myself stood up for and gave a round of applause in the room. You understand? But that didn't stop me from believing in myself and in what I was doing. Somebody will say, meat pies. See, there's really nothing too small. You understand? If you say, I'm just making meat pies, and then because of that, you think I should just continue to make it in the corner of my room, it's not worth making noise about. No. Because at the end of the day, if you make a big deal out of it and you continue to make a big deal out of it, and then it becomes what you make out of it. It becomes Coca-Cola was just a drink. It's just a drink. You can't say, there's nothing too small, right? So that mindset, first of all, helps you to be confident about yourself anywhere and putting yourself out there. So there's really no fast rule or specific framework when it comes to like pitch competition, and other than the fact that know your business, know your figures, know your numbers, know your business plan, know where you're starting, where you are now, where you're headed. Those are the things that really help you. And don't make those numbers up. Don't make things up because people can see through, made up things. You understand? You're probably talking to
experts,
people. Yeah, experts, that's summary really.
So for grants, people to have access to grant, are there links? Is there a particular page where you have access to all these grants that small business owners can also look into?
You looked into a couple of grant opportunities myself. I would just say that they're mostly from research online. If you see a body that offers grants, even if they are not offering right now, if you can sign up for their newsletters, if you can, follow them on their social media platforms, when those grants become available, you'll probably be the first to know. I've also not won a couple of grants myself. I mean, I won one, but I'll say keeping your ears to the ground is what it is. And I think there's a couple of people who offer that as a service as well. So you can reach out to them, you can network with those people who offer it as a service, and of course it will help you get ahead faster as well, rather than trying to find the information on your own. So
okay, so for someone that had won a grant in the past, like, is there always an expectation from the grant givers? After giving the grant, do they come to inspect? Do they come to check, how well did you spend the grant? Or it's just added and the chapter is closed?
Yes. So for the one that I won, there's supposed to be like a 6-month review session where, we get together again and be like, they're not trying to police you or anything like that. No. So more like just review your business, see how far you've gone, where you are at, your successes, your failures, your challenges. And specifically, the grant I won was the Saskatoon Black Business Network pitch competition. So for SBBN, even a couple of months after the pitch competition, we had some leadership training programs, some of them even were as deep as even, personality and leadership, what you call it now, personality and leadership assessments to see what kind of person you are and how you can lead your business properly. And those were really good resources that we could leverage on.
Thank you so much. You've been giving us gems. You've really opened our eyes to understand more about setting up a business, especially in the diaspora. How can you compare the market here? You've been business back in your home countries. How is the terrain when it comes to business here in Canada and back home in Nigeria?
But so the terrains are quite different. I would say that everywhere has its pros and cons. One major pro with running business in Canada is that you can easily access funds. You start your business, you open a business account, you have a good credit score. Even your bank is offering you a business line of credit. So you may not necessarily be cash trapped. You understand? You have a choice to or to not use the credits, but at least you have that resource available to you. Meanwhile, like back home, you'd really have to getting loans, getting access to financing is really
tough.
Yes, it can be really difficult. But I would say from the regulatory point of view, I think things are stricter here. Like back home, you can just sleep and wake up and say, hey, I'm starting this business. And not even, there's really nobody regulating things per se. You just do whatever you need to do, sell to whoever you need to sell to, irrespective of, But here, there's a lot of regulations in place as to what can you do, what can you not do. For example, the biggest like I always say, I started my business from home. I started, selling to my family, my friends. Matter of fact, if I tell you my story, my first customer that I sold meat pies to literally convinced me to, like, when somebody is convincing you to take an order, like, what? Why would you say you won't sell it? You do this thing so well. What do you mean you won't sell? And I'm like, no, I'm not selling. I just make them like, no. I've never had to, I don't like food. I don't eat that much. But when I had your meat pies, I came to beg for more. Do you know what that means? Like I swallowed my pride. I came to beg for more. And I'm like, okay. So we were on that phone call for maybe close to like 15 minutes. I said, okay, how many do you want? And she said 2 dozens. Oh. I'm like, okay, I'll make it. She was like, okay, send me your account number right now. I'm like, okay. But on looking into how I can expand, when I started to think of expanding, I saw that, I can't do this from home. I have to use, because it contains this kind of ingredients, I have to use a commercial kitchen, I have to use, and then comes the fear of costs and, I think scaling, they always say, like, is the most difficult thing. Starting is easier than scaling, actually, because at that point when you need to scale, the fact that your costs would swallow your profits. At one point when I started to, work in the commercial kitchen and sell my products, I used to tell myself, is this a business or a bad habit?
Bad habit.
You understand? Like an expensive bad habit now, like something that you cannot just stop doing, but you're not making money
from it.
Yes, but you're just doing it. You understand? Just because, hey, well, people like it. I'm always getting good feedback. People be like, oh, you made this. Wow, fantastic. And I'm like, okay, so I have to, at some points, really, really tell myself, if I need to grow, I have to do what's necessary to grow, because the thought of, working long term and your costs continue to, outweigh your profits. So, and that's when, the thought of starting to put structure in place then sets in. But the good thing then is because I had income from a job, I was able to support my bad habits. You understand? Regardless of whether it was profitable in the beginning or not. And so that's why, going back to the other question you asked me, that's why I would say that everybody has to, on the question of whether to quit your job to start your business or to start as a side hustle, it will always be personal in terms of, do I have enough savings? Do I have plans in place to grow this business? So yeah, I don't want to veer from the main question that you asked, but yeah.
You talked about regulation in Canada compared to back home in your country. So what are the regulatory bodies we have? I know in Nigeria you have NAFDAC that comes around to regulate. I don't know how deep the regulations are. I know our country does well. So here in Canada, what are the regulatory bodies that
as a food company?
Do they come around to inspect and things like that?
Oh, of course. Because like starting, you first have to ensure that you're using the proper facility. Then there's different levels of inspection or regulation. It just depends on what's sufficient for the kind of business that you're doing and where you want to sell to. So there is you can do your licensing at the municipal level, at the provincial level, at the federal level. It depends on, how big do you want to. As a food person, for example, there's this Saskatchewan Public Health that can license you to produce your food in certain types of facilities. But then if you want to grow beyond that point, you don't want to sell within Saskatchewan alone, grow more, expand your tentacles beyond Saskatchewan or beyond Saskatchewan rather, because then you have to think about getting licensed by a federally recognized body. So at this point now you're talking about first of all you have to think about HACCP, and HACCP is acronym for Hazard and Critical Control Points. So then you have to also think of CFIA, for example, get CFIA approved. CFIA just wants to make sure that there's safe food for all Canadians.
Yeah.
So yes, so you have to think more deeply about your production process, because you have to think more about putting things like a recall procedure in place. You have to think about, so you just have to, it seems like a lot of work or a lot of things to think about when you start. But at the end of the day, it's really just things that you should build into your day-to-day system. Yes, I didn't even start with the most basic ones. The most basic one, and that's being food safety certified. That's
the number one.
Yes, that's the number one, and having your employees be food safety certified, so that everybody's conscious of how to handle food and you're not just poisoning people.
Yeah,
Olamide, you have been so fantastic. This discussion has been so fruitful. Our viewers, I hope you have followed up all we have discussed. And from what you've said, one thing I pick out of all this is majorly system. Make sure you have a system in place. I have a business and I'm looking into my business. I'm like, am I just doing it on the fly, or do I have a system in place? Do I have processes that knows that when the customers are not satisfied, when this issue happens, how do we handle it? Even as small as phone call, handling your phone call and attending to your customers on the phone. All these processes help your business to expand and make people to appreciate, and also impute professionalism in your business. So with all this, I would like to see if there is any final word.
Yeah, my final word, because it was really insightful and I learned one or two things as a business owner too. So to our subscribers, to our viewers, I would actually encourage everyone to look into doing business. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. So you might just use that extra hour to bring in some more income if you need it.
Okay. So do you have any final words for our viewers?
Okay, final words I would say is yes. So our co-host said, if you binge less on Netflix, you might realize that you have that extra 1 hour every day to put into something that develops you. At the end of the day, truth be told, not everybody's going to do business.
Yeah.
You understand? But if it's developing yourself in your career, or in business, you understand. So just always take time off and make sure that you are a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. And finally, I know I said a lot, is there's nothing too small to be grown. So there's nothing too small. You have to just look and say, what do I have in my hands, and water it and water it, and with a lot of hard work and innovation and commitments, it will grow.
So how much will you say your asset is now in your business? Like, what's your business worth?
Scratch. Scratch. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. So finally, Open Table, thanks for watching. And remember, like our colleagues will always say, life is for the living. Take care.